in this alternative is a way for developing countries to kind of move away from the kind of standards set by the developed countries right now of social democracy and also the social democracy and other things slipped my mind. But I was just wondering, how feasible do you think that this alternative is in terms of implementation for developing countries at this point, especially in terms of these investments in education and the restructuring of government? Because I think there are some significant kind of obstacles to those, especially for developing countries.
Of course there are obstacles, but to my mind, the greatest obstacle is the lack of ideas. So I'm going to use my response to your question now at the end just as a way of trying to explain in summary form my motivation. So I began with a focus on a particular dilemma in our ideas about national development today. So this dilemma hasn't been understood yet in the world, but it is the central problem. The central problem is that conventional industrialization is no longer a reliable road to economic growth. But that the alternative, which would be a disseminated form of the knowledge economy, still seems to be inaccessible, and even more inaccessible under the conditions of a developing country. Now, how are we going to solve this dilemma? So my basic argument is that the only way we can solve this dilemma is to solve it on the second side, by making the inaccessible accessible, by finding a way to break up this task of creating a disseminated and inclusive form of the knowledge economy into pieces or parts or steps so that this project becomes feasible. Now, that was the particular focus of the argument. But the argument has a political and spiritual background that I want to make explicit. So the background is the view that there is a revolutionary project in the world that has been going on for 2 centuries. It has a political face and a personal face. The political face is carried by the doctrines of liberalism, socialism, and democracy. And it has been associated with a commitment to institutional blueprints. So each of the factions had a formula. The liberals had one, the socialists had another. I don't believe in these formulas. And so I believe in the primacy of structural change, but I don't believe in structural dogmatism. And so we have to solve this problem. That's a problem. But then there's the other face of this revolution is the personal face, carried by the worldwide popular romantic culture, with its message of the greatness, the divinity, the godlike character of every individual human being. So an Indian peasant or a Brazilian worker in a slum sees a telenovela or sees the soap opera, and the message is the message of the greatness of the ordinary, as a fantasy, as an escape, not as a reality. Now, this is the project that has set the world on fire for 200 years, in its political form and in its personal form. I want this revolution to continue. For this revolution to continue, it has to be reinvented in a different form. And the task of creating an inclusive embodiment of the knowledge economy is one more provocation or opportunity from my point of view. I'm looking at it opportunistically as an occasion for the reinvention of world revolution. And that, therefore, made explicit now in the end, is my true agenda.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, this was the first lecture here at Tsinghua University. Next, tomorrow event, I welcome all of you to join us for the tomorrow evening, the second lecture at Tsinghua University, also the third lecture, including the yesterday lecture in the Central Party School. So, welcome. And now it's the end of today's event. But our students, for PPE students, can stay for 10 or 15 minutes. Dr. Wang Pei and Dr. Kong Yang will talk to you, reflection, and maybe collect some more questions. But our task already finished. Okay?